So let's all close our eyes. Take a deep breath. Leave all our worries outside the door and focus on this beautiful moment that we are sharing together. Thank God for this opportunity to pray and have some enlightenment from the gospel. We ask for your help to understand the gospel, the words, the meanings, and that it can enlighten us tonight and in our life. May the good spirits be with us. May our house be in harmony for this moment of love, knowledge, and prayer. So be it.
Okay, so tonight we're going to talk about the alliance between science and religion. I'm just reading this. The science and religion are two levels of human intelligence. One reveals the laws of the material world, and the other the laws of the moral world. But neither having the same principle, which is God, can contradict each other. If they were to negate each other, one would necessarily be wrong and the other right, because God could not possibly be willing to destroy God's own work. The incompatibility that is thought to exist between these two orders of ideas arises from an erroneous observation and an excess of exclusivity on one side and the other. This has resulted in a conflict from which both disbeliefs and intolerance have emerged. The time has come in which Christ's teachings must receive their completion, in which the veil cast intentionally over some parts of the teachings must be lifted, in which science ceases to be exclusively materialistic and takes into account the spiritual element, in which religion ceases to misinterpret the organic and immutable laws of matter. These two forces, supporting each other and advancing together, will lend each other mutual support. Then religion, no longer having to endure the discredit of science, will acquire unshakable power, because it will be in accord with reason and will no longer be able to oppose the irresistible logic of the facts. Science and religions were unable to understand each other until today, because each examining matters from its own exclusive point of view, they mutually rejected each other. Something was needed to fill the gap that separated them, a mark of union that would bring them close to each other. This mark of union that resided in the knowledge of the laws that govern the spiritual world and its relation with the corporeal laws, as immutable as those governing the movement of the heavenly bodies and the existence of beings. Once they were proven by experience, these relations caused a new light to dawn. Fate turned towards reason. Reason found nothing illogical in fate, and was defeated. But in this, as in everything else, there are persons who remain behind until they are swept along by the movement of the whole, which crushes them if trying to resist it instead of surrendering it to it. It is a whole moral revolution that is occurring at this time, molding people's spirits. After being prepared for over more than 18 centuries, this revolution is nearing its fulfillment, and it will mark a new era for humankind. The consequences of this revolution are easy to foresee. As for social relations, it must bring inevitable changes that no person has the power to oppose, because they are in the designs of God and result from this law of progress, which is law of God, the law of God.
So, Great words. So this page is talking about, as we said, the alliance between science and religion. And for centuries, this division between science and religion was created, both for being more compromised with an ideology than with the truth, many times. With this separatist form of thinking that if one is right, the other must be wrong, and nobody wanted to say they were wrong. And there is no right or wrong. We can find truth in both sides. And I just want to question Cecilia, that is our viewer, if that doesn't sound familiar. Because I think this is just a reflection about our behavior as society, in humanity. Sorry, I was just, yeah, so I would say, don't think about this separation as something apart from us. This has everything about us. Can't we find truth on the both sides? Who told us we have to choose a side? Who told us if the other side is right, my side is wrong? If we were able to sit down and talk about ideas with no judgment, no division, no labels, how much we would be able to extract from these nurturing conversations, how much we would benefit from that, how closer to the truth would we be able to get if only we had the courage to leave behind these old ways of thinking when we are faced with the truth. But many times we've been choosing pride over a real commitment with the truth. And that's the problem that we have in the world right now, pride. We have a lot of pride. But one day when we begin to truly commit to the truth, over our pride, over the belief system that we created in our head, that many times we believe it's our identity and we don't want to get rid of it, I'm sure we're gonna have so much breakthroughs. And it's not just about science and religion, it's about us starting to get into this new era, that we are more open to other ideas, to the other side, and not this separatist vision that if the other is wrong, I am right. If the other is right, I am wrong. We can benefit so much if we start seeing these things together. And it's the same, that's the story about religion and science. When they start to holding hands, when they start to support each other, we're gonna see so many beautiful things happening. And we're gonna have so many discoveries. It's gonna be impossible to not believe on some things. People who are still not to believe, they're gonna be crushed because they will have to, there will be no other way. And I really like what Kardec said about Spiritism, that if science proves that Spiritism is wrong in some way, go with the science. And I think that summarizes what Spiritism is regarding to this. It's not, Spiritism is preaching reasonable, how do you say? Reasonable faith, not a blind one. So I think it's very important, our commitment with truth, because while we start doing that, we are cooperating with the vibration of the earth. We are cooperating for this new era where we're gonna see this conjunction between science and religion as one, and we're gonna develop a lot from that.
Yeah, the proposal of Spiritism is to for those two levels of the human intelligence to be aligned, and that will reveal again a bigger truth. Yes, from both sides. If they join together, and that's the proposal for Spiritism, for us to religion or spirituality be within science and vice versa. And we're going to explain a lot of what we call supernatural, a lot of what we call miracles. If science and religion gets together, we have a bigger chance to get to the facts of all this.
True.
And Spiritism proposes for science to work together with spirituality. As the closer they get, the more we can deal with the reasons within all that what is unknown. Okay, so it's funny to talk about this because Jesus, for example, there's a lot of science in what Jesus said. Yeah, Jesus used to speak in parables, and with that, he used to activate people's conscience, and his listener, and with that, break some resistance of the message that he was trying to pass. Today, neuroscience confirms that metaphors, which was used by Jesus, accesses the inconscient and changes our behavior. So he knew all along about all that because he was not about religion itself. He didn't come to talk about religion. He came about with his wisdom to talk about who we are, what we're here for, and what's the purpose of all this. But the people back then was not ready to listen to and understand the information that he had. Therefore, he said he was going to send the third revelation, right? The comforter, the consoler. It's not about religion. The truth is behind life. It's about life itself. It's an ancient wisdom that he brought within, which we have also. And when you said, like you said, when the ego is not in between those two levels of the human intelligence, we would give a bigger step, a bigger quantum leap into the not only your consciousness but also the universe, to know about everything, to advance and progress as humanity itself. So Jesus said to Madalena, yeah, go and sin no more, and that's in John 8:11. Sin is not a moralist saying by Jesus, as was for him this was an unconscious behavior, and sorry, he was trying to eradicate, to destroy those unconscious behavior. Go and think about what you're going to do before you're doing. So he's trying to wrap those bad behavior. Now neuroscience calls this neuroplasticity, which is reprogramming your mind. He knew all along within his wisdom. So if science goes together with religion, they would learn about a lot of things that they now say there's no explanation, when there is explanation for a lot of the things that it's unknown to them. Jesus said, your faith healed you, for that lady that touched him. Because your beliefs, what you believe, can create things, can change the energy around you. Your harmony, your emotions, your feelings cause illness, right? So nowadays it's understood that these things are actually science. Science talk about the power of the mind, right? So faith is in this context. It is very, very powerful. It can change your health. Love itself it's a very, very powerful technology, because love can heal, love can create, love can push us to move forward, love can change the world. It's a very powerful technology, that's not used, very little used. And a lot of the scientists of back then, actually I had made some notes here. Werner Heisenberg, Nobel Prize winner, physicist, he said, the first sip from and you become an atheist. But at the bottom of that glass, more you go deeper and deeper into science, you will find God waiting for you. That's a scientist. Albert Einstein, science without religion is lame. Religions without science is blind. Max Planck, the father of quantum theory. Whenever you look at, wherever you look at, you will find an intelligence behind natural order of the universe. How can you explain everything in the universe if there is not a higher power, a higher intelligence behind everything? That's why we say the more you go within science, studying science, there you find God. Sir Isaac Newton, father of classic physicists. The wonderful harmony of the universe could only have originated according to the plan of an all-powerful and all-knowing being. And that's a physicist, very known physicist. Even you can go back on Galileo Galilei, back at the Galileo, where he said that the purpose of science is to determine how to heaven's goals, and the purpose of religion is to determine how to go to heaven. So the thing is, science and religion, they have ruled different eras. Because if you think about it, if we talk about, there is some things that we can't believe it anymore, that we can see that was misinterpreted. Like the world was created in 7 days. Wouldn't that be 7 years? That could be 7 years, not 7 days. But that does not discredit what they believed, what religion said. That does not discredit God being all-powerful, almighty. As does not discredit science. So as for example, the story of Adam and Eve, would that be a person from an era that created a place? They started an era, but not the whole world. Since the kids, one killed each other and then one went elsewhere, far away, and he found someone there and got married. So who made that person? So that doesn't discredit the story itself, because the story existed, they existed, but would that be exactly interpreted as was written? That may be our mistake. And that's when science comes to play their part. And if you think about the human history, they have played against each other, contrary to each other, throughout the whole history. Sometimes it was science that was in charge, then was philosophy, then was religion. And they all part of this, the one law, one God. They're all under one creator. They cannot go against each other because they're part of the same law, the laws of God. That's when we have to stop to think that if they go hand in hand, we would grow, we would find so many answers for things that it seems to be unknown at this point in time. Light would manifest itself. Light would manifest itself. Like was said in the Bible, light would manifest itself as a speech. And it did. In time, space, matter, power, and motion. If you think about science,
Yeah.
right? So I'm talking in science language: time, space, matter, power, motion. Light will be manifest itself as power, as a speech, and it has. So in the end, at the end, they all together. They just not have not stopped to look at the other side, and maybe pride, talking about it, like you said right in the beginning. Although there is a lot of studies on the science part where this alignment can happen. A lot of groups going on that I heard, and I watch about, because I really love talking about the scientific part of this. That they are studying the where it joins and science, and
Yeah.
if they knew, they are so close to each other. If they
Yes.
knew.
Yeah, there are quantum physics studying, right? About the energy, about the effect we can have in the matter just
Exactly.
by observing it.
We are.
Yeah. Also, I think I saw in a speech from Haroldo Dutra that in that book from André Luiz, 2000 years, how do you say?
No, that's not Andrea Luis.
It was
That would be Emmanuel.
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 Emmanuel. But I think he mentioned André Luiz too. I don't know. I'll check the speech. But like, Emmanuel was saying that the same energy that attracts the atoms is the same energy that attracts us to our loved ones.
Correct.
So how fantastic is it?
Yeah. It's the same law.
The same law.
Law. Same law of the universe. Love, atoms, the invisible world. Right?
Yeah.
The invisible world.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, spirits.
Yeah. But then science doesn't believe it because they just believe on what they can see and
And,
touch and hear or whatever, something that they can
and
in a
test.
concrete way prove. With their instruments they can prove. But on
Yeah,
the other hand,
they cannot see the air. Nonetheless,
yeah,
without it.
what about the radio waves, the Wi-Fi? Like how we're talking to each other right now, how people are seeing us from their house. You know, we can't see it, but it exists.
Exactly. The more they study about this, the more they get close and get curious about this, the more whatever we have is studying here in Spiritism will be more seen and proved.
Yeah. I believe there is a lot of proof already,
Yes.
but they've been hiding for some egocentric reasons, right?
Yes, unfortunately.
And but it's gonna come. It's gonna come at some point. It's gonna be inevitable that this truth will come to the world and enlighten us.
So we hope.
Yeah, I think that's where we're going. I'm not sure
Yes.
if we're gonna see all of that. I think part of it because it's a gradual thing, right?
Yeah.
We are already seeing some stuff, but it's like slowly, gradually coming.
Yeah. It is a slow
Yeah,
process. It is a
it's
slow.
a process. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It
Yeah.
also depends on our ability to understand it, right? So
Exactly.
it
This
could
is
come
this
everything
is
right
the
now, and it'll be like, oh
revelation.
yeah.
before.
Don't get it.
Yes,
That's
just
it.
the same as the information was given before, where at the time of Moses, for example, he had to be stronger on his delivery of who God was, like the God of justice and vindictive, like a very, very human kind of God, right?
Yeah.
But he needed for that type of people back then, for the people that held the war back then. So he needed that. Uh, and then Jesus comes and talk about love and talk about love one another, love your neighbor, love your enemies. We were ready for that at his time, but not ready for more information. Like people ask, well, hell, a man can be born again from
Yeah.
journey. Let's not get to that point because that's another part of the gospel that we're going to study.
Yeah. Yeah.
But anyway,
But
and
like,
then,
love your enemy. Imagine in the Moses era,
yeah,
when
exactly.
people were killing
Yeah.
each other for nothing.
Now we used to go on the streets to see people being stoned
Gladiated.
and burned at
Yeah.
stake, and that was law back then. We have evolved. For more that we think about the words crazy, and it is right, but we have evolved, and
We
we
did. We did.
okay. So our time we has passed a little bit.
Yeah, 8:32.
8:30.
Anyone has any comment? I saw that Mariana is in also, my friend. Thanks, Mariana.
Hi, Mariana. I cannot see anyone today, but anyway,
Let's go.
I'm glad you guys are here, and I hope you enjoy the comments and the discussions. There's so much more for us to talk about in regards to this, and I just hope that one day science really, really study about spirituality a little bit more, and they will find the answers for a lot of the things that they think is um, unknown, or what the things that we thought was miracle. Okay, let's close our eyes, and before this mind, we would like to thank our spiritual guides, our mentors that has been through us speaking, helping us to also be here together tonight. In the name of Jesus Christ, blessing our house, blessing us, blessing our water, blessing up with the presence with us. Our Master Jesus, we thank you, dear Lord, for one more day of life, another chance to learn a little bit more about you, about God, about the universe, and the purpose of all this. Thank you for your blessings, and we thank you to deliver love to all of those that in this right moment is in need of your message, is in need of your comfort, is in need of your embrace. We thank our spiritual guides for being so patient with us, helping us to understand a little bit more about ourselves, helping us to become a better person every day. Dear Lord, bless our week ahead and all of those people that may come to this video. Please enter their house, illuminate every single corner of their house, creating an environment of love, of harmony, of peace. And if they are in need for any illness, may they receive in this right moment your healing power. So
So be it.